Right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to give everybody a couple minutes to hop on here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. One more minute. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you everybody for joining us today for our Data Retention Done Right webinar hosted by Fulcrum Digital and our partner Global IDs. Just wanted to give you guys a brief agenda for today's webinar. We'll cover some brief introductions to start, and then we'll dive into why you need data retention policies, the challenges of maintaining accurate data, how to tackle data retention compliance, and then we'll also do a brief demo. And at the end, we will answer all of your questions. So feel free throughout the webinar to submit your questions. And again, at the end, we will address all of those. So today I'd like to introduce my speakers. I have Partho Sarathi, who is the product manager over at Global IDs. Partho, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Partho Sarathi. I am currently a product manager at Global IDs. I've been working with the company for 13 years, leading software development teams in data discovery, tracing, retention, reconciliation, and knowledge graph.
Awesome, thanks for that. And then I'll hand it over to you. We also have Conleth Cunningham here, our VP of Financial Services at Fulcrum Digital. Conleth, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. I've been with Fulcrum just over 2 years now. I've got about 30+ years experience in IT, a decent split between delivery and business development. During that time, I spent most of my career with a company called Unisys, which is an American company, about 20+ years there, and with HSBC, 11 years, and as I say, I'm currently with Fulcrum Digital. I've been working in several geographical locations, North America, New York. I've been in Mumbai for a couple of years, Hong Kong, Singapore, and currently based in London. I've worked throughout England as well. Norwich and Swindon come to mind, but perhaps you can tell from my accent that I'm actually from Ireland, I think. So that hopefully covers my introduction.
Awesome, great. All right, well, we have a lot of exciting things to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so just to remind everybody of the agenda just a little bit, we want to talk about why we need data retention, and what the challenges are and how to tackle the problem. We're going to whiz through a number of slides. This is a very complex subject, and we're going to have a variety of people on this call from different backgrounds or different levels of expertise and experience. So it's going to be very hard to satisfy everybody. The main purpose of this webinar is to try to generate some healthy discussion. We certainly want to introduce the combination, the partnership that Fulcrum and Global IDs that we bring to the table. And we definitely want to showcase our expertise, our experience, but also a brief demo on data retention. Data retention is one of the products that Global IDs offers. So this is meant to be high level, but we definitely want it to be a platform to generate conversation and follow-up meetings, and hopefully we can have some healthy debate and have some good questions during this call. Just to remind everybody, stating the obvious, we need data retention for compliance purposes, and for clients to be in control of their data. That's very important. The challenges, I think, are obvious. It depends on the size of your enterprise, your organization. Volume of data is one of those key drivers. Big data, large volumes of data requires automation. But quite often our clients go through mergers and acquisitions, there are upgrades, there's new systems development, there's new IT strategies, and there's also changing rules and regulations all the time. And an automated system or a platform that Global IDs offers is a fantastic platform to enable you to be in charge of that process. So automation, as I say, is key, using state-of-the-art tools and techniques, machine learning, AI, and so on. So, and again, all of this will be backed up and supported with consultancy that Global IDs brings to the table, and I will talk about what Fulcrum does as well. The demo will be short and interactive, and again, we can go into more detail upon request after this event, this webinar. Okay, so just introducing Fulcrum. We are a global company, predominantly based, in the US and in the European market. This webinar has been hosted by the Financial Services division of Fulcrum, but we do have other divisions that cover insurance, consumer products, food service, e-commerce, and so on and so forth. So you can see that on the slide. I'm not going to cover everything on this slide, but we do have a global presence in Jersey City, Chicago, London, to name a few, Sao Paulo, Pune and Mumbai are a number of our locations. We are about a 1,200 plus employee company with over 200 plus customers, mostly in the US, UK, Nordics, and Europe, as I said earlier. We do offer an onshore, nearshore, offshore model, working with our clients, and a hybrid is the preferred option. In that process, Fulcrum is certified ISO 27001. We bring skilled resources from our Center of Excellences, some of the locations I've just mentioned, but also we do have some subject matter expertise practices. As an example, that would be our quality assurance practice. We focus on building partnerships with our clients. We're in it for the long haul. We want to be on the journey together, and that's the mantra that Fulcrum practices. We have some very significant clients, market leaders, and again, most of our clients are with us with long-term relationships. Rhiannon, I think I'm on the previous slide, if that's okay. We're slipping through a little bit quickly. Key offerings from Fulcrum: cloud technology. A lot of our history has been based in payments, especially here in the UK. Open banking, mobile banking, web applications, but also systems integration and migration. So very much working with our fintech clients and with the banking family. We do have global command centers, help desks, support desks that support our clients as well, multi-language, global coverage, and again, offering 24/7. Underpinning all of that is our family of consultants that are very much vendor independent, technology agnostic as such. We very much work on the latest technology stacks, but very much driven by what the customer requires us to address in terms of their requirements. Quality assurance and automation testing are also a major feature of our consultancy practice. Okay, Rhiannon, I think we can go on to the next slide. Yeah, so we're going to Global IDs here. Okay, so Global IDs, I'm going to be talking about Global IDs just to save time on handing over back and forth between Partho and myself. Global IDs are experts on all matters data with over 20 plus years working and focused in the area of data. During this time, they've had some significant collaborations with some of the largest clients based in the US, some of the largest banks in the US, and they've built a platform that has evolved using the latest technologies and using the latest techniques. Mostly the client base is financial services, but it does include telecoms, healthcare, and media, to name a few. I think there's a few more details on the following slide. Again, Global IDs, the platform that has been offered is called Deep, but within that there are multiple product offerings. Today we're talking about data retention, but the offerings are all part of an integrated suite, and I will cover that in a little bit more detail. Previously, as Rihanna mentioned, we did talk about data lineage, and that can be that webinar can be shared with you upon request at a later stage. So moving on, Rihanna, next slide. So Global IDs experience, let's say 20 plus years experience, very much a global, local presence, assisted with partnerships in place, including Fulcrum Digital. So US being the largest market, but there are markets where they will function, and that's where bringing in partnerships like Fulcrum ID will help provide a global coverage and to help go to where our clients need us to go to. Again, Global IDs, as with Fulcrum ID, will provide onshore, nearshore, and offshore models available. And again, hybrid arrangements are available. We're going to talk about the partnership between Fulcrum and Global IDs in a minute, but for now, again, Fulcrum has incredible clients, some of the largest banks in the US, and again, very much focused on long-term relationships, covering a range of domains. Now, moving on, that slide now on display talks about DEEP. DEEP is the Data Ecosystem Evolution Platform. Swanky term for a range of products that they have built over the years. And as I say, today we're talking about data retention, but the key solutions coming out of this platform will address data governance, data transformation, data privacy like GDPR, metadata management, to name a few. And the key benefits coming out of that, the key outcomes and deliverables will be to help our clients discover and profile their data, classification of data, a glossary. All of these things, all of these terms will be familiar to listeners on the call, especially if you have a title of data science or a CDO as part of your title. Cataloging of data, lineage, traceability, assisting migrations, all driving towards data quality and being in control of the data that you need to do. Today, I've been to recent trade shows this year, and one of the major topics that was coming out of those trade events was that data is going to be key in going forward. Being in control of your data, managing your data, being compliant with your data. And Global IDs and their DEEP platform is going to be well positioned to address that going forward. Some of the key advantages with the platform, it's a deep technology stack, again, developed over a number of years in collaboration with some very significant partners. So this is a journey that Global IDs have done, very much focused on data science, not spread out into other areas. Their core skill, their core focus is data science. So a deep technology stack. The platform is customizable, very much built on enterprise-grade API mode architecture, and scalable. It's still scalable that you can actually take this product on board or this platform on board at an early stage of your strategy or of your journey as such, and grow with the Global IDs platform. Deployment flexibility is there, and there is an extensive library of connectors to data sources to help assist with getting to work with data as quickly as possible and to get the results out as quickly as possible. When I say deployment is flexible, it can be cloud-based or it can be enterprise architecture-based. Next slide, our partnership. So the partnership, this diagram kind of indicates that Global IDs on the left is really about providing that deep subject matter expertise with data. They're the experts. They've been in this space for a long time, as I said. They'll undergo the initial training, but they want, Global IDs will focus on the product development and getting the best results and keeping the product up to date with the ever-changing demands coming out of regulators and the different rules and regulations that are coming from different countries and different regions in the world. We are partnering, Fulcrum is partnering Global IDs in more of the project functions. We will take care of the project management, the installations, if there's any systems integration work or any bespoke work that needs to be done with that client. a range of project activities, including user support and upgrade support and ongoing support when you're in a production mode. So one of Global IDs will focus on the product and the product development and the deep root expertise. Fulcrum will focus more on the project delivery, the implementation, support, and assisting with the clients. So it's really a partnership on a global basis. Next slide, data retention. So we've already touched on this already. Organizations do need to treat data incredibly important as an incredibly important area. It's an area that is being pushed by the regulators more and more. It's not something new. I mean, I think many organizations are doing this already, but the challenges are increasing. The ever increasing number of data sources, the ever increasing rules and regulations that are being pushed out, means that organizations really do need to have a robust and mature data governance program and a program charter. And this is the sort of thing that Global IDs kind of assist and provide consultancy on with our clients. This governance program needs to be implemented and then measured and in an ongoing way. And this is something that is worked on with Global IDs and their deep platform going forward. The key drivers, is, as I said earlier, is compliance with the rules and regulations. But there are other factors involved as well. There are cost savings, and it's not so much about saving disk space per se, even though there is a lot of drive with ESG matters. But maintaining your data will definitely assist with future IT strategies in terms of migration, in terms of upgrades and what have you. If you keep on top of your data and keep the housekeeping at a priority, then upgrades, migrations, acquisitions, mergers will make for an easier process, and hence that cost process would be much less. In terms of data privacy, enterprises need to search for private data and sensitive data across their data landscape, and deep. The platform will help you do that. It builds a foundation for data privacy by using machine learning to help classify and tag sensitive data. With high accuracy and high performance, the software can rapidly analyze data ecosystems and help deliver those results to help in those decision-making processes going forward. Moving on to the next slide. Challenges. Maintain for this. Adherence is all about, it has to be a robust process. As I mentioned before, the program charter, the governance model is something that needs to be put in place. And by having the tools and the products that Global IDs offer will help ensure adherence to that process. You'll have a one-time setup, but low maintenance thereafter, and then a repeatable process for the enterprise to apply to different parts of this organization. And then also, if there are, as I say, new systems being deployed or a new strategy, or even perhaps some mergers or acquisitions, the deep platform can help with that process to be sure you're constantly adhering to the principles of compliance. Risk management, the demands today is you must know your data to avoid falling victim of any regulatory penalties or demands. And the last thing that clients want, especially in financial services, is headline news being made. So risk management is key in this area. And as I said, we talked about optimization and storage excess costs. It's good to keep on top of the data because the number of sources and the way data is produced today, it is something that can get out of control. But more importantly, the complexity and scale that results of clients on their IT journey, on their IT strategy, demands that you do need a partner like Global IDs and Fulcrum, but also a platform that Deep offers and a range of products that Deep can give to help you in your journey in managing your data science. Last slide, I think, is the Global ID difference. I think we're just running a little bit over time. Again, I think we've talked about Rules management, the system is very much about setting up rules. We talked about that machine learning and AI approach to things, to machine, the deep platform helping keep on top of the governance program. We have compliance and dormancy and actionable results that deep will produce. The key benefits that come out of this is that all the components are in one enterprise data platform, and those components are integrated and will work together. So data lineage, data privacy, data retention, these are components that will work together and help you identify a program to manage your data. The platform is fully customizable. I mentioned already it's a deep technology stack, API mode architecture, and then just to repeat, this can be deployed on the cloud or on your enterprise architecture. So that's a quick whiz through of the deep platform, the global IDs, and also what Fulcrum brings to the table. I'm going to hand over to Partho, who I think is going to do a small demo. And then we'll take some questions at the end of the demo.
Thanks a lot, Conleth. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So this is our data retention module, and it builds on our existing product, and it's kind of a module on top of the existing classification capabilities. And the first step in data retention is to configure rules. So here, for example, I have rules against purchase history, which is a logical concept, and I've set the rule to be 10 years. That means we should be retaining data for 10 years. Now, once we've set up all these rules against the logical concepts, we can go and start importing connections. And we have over 60 different connectors. And then we import metadata from the catalog tables. This is a very quick activity. Once that is done, we run retention jobs. And for these, we select a database at a time. And let me find the right database. So we pick a database and we craft these queries which are run against the actual table. So bulk of the computation happens on the database side, and we get a year-wise breakdown of records from the database. And that's enough for us to perform the data retention compliance. And this also takes care of security issues, as we are not retrieving or storing raw data from the databases. So once we select all the tables and we run these jobs, these run on the backend, and these could be set to run periodically as well. Once these jobs are run, we could go to the data retention dashboard to take a look at the results. So this first chart tells us an year-wise breakdown of records across all the databases that we have. This chart tells us what the compliance is against each of the logical concepts. For example, purchase history has 94% compliance with the retention policy. This one tells us how many tables are compliant and how many are not. This tells us the total number of records in compliance and the ones that are in violation. I also have full drill down capabilities into this. So if I go inside purchase history and then inside product, I can see that for this logical concept, 99.4% of the records are within our retention period of 10 years, and just a few handful of records are older than this. These could be archived or purged, and this was when the first record was introduced into the system, and this was when the most recent one was. Now, there could be multiple schemas associated with this logical concept. We see these at the bottom with similar metrics for each schema. We could even drill down into the schema and take a look at the individual tables and see whether or not they are in compliance. And again, a breakdown of the records, how many of them are older than our retention policy and how many are within it. So you have all of these metrics which can be exported into CSV format. You can also run these jobs periodically, and across snapshots, you can do comparisons. So here I can see between the latest runs, we see that the retention score improved, and you can move across these snapshots. So you will also see when things go bad and take action on these. And all of these activities can be performed using our REST APIs. So if you want to automate this into your pipeline, you can use our REST APIs. So that's all I had. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, I'll take them.
Okay, thank you for that, Partho, and Conleth for all of that insight. Now we will start the Q&A section. So I do have a couple questions for you guys here. I'll start with the first one that I got. I think this will be directed at you mainly, Partho. Do you store raw data of source database?
No, so we do not even retrieve the raw data. All we get is a year-wise count of how many records exist in a table. So that helps from a security standpoint.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And then another question, are data files supported?
So we have connectors for over 60 different data sources, but for retention, we at this moment are restricted to only relational databases, Oracle, SQL Server, things like that.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And then another one.
Just to add on that, I mean, I think, the number of connectors that Fulcrum and Global IDs have developed over the years will allow for, a fast start with deployment of the system against data sources. So the confidence is very high that your data source is covered already. And we're not expecting a huge amount of systems integration work or a lot of IT development work to get the project up and running. So with the library that Global IDs currently has, we should be able to get that project running and delivering results, sooner rather than later.
Awesome. Okay. Another quick question here. What do you guys feel is trending more, cloud or enterprise architecture for deployment for Global IDs?
So we do see some cloud deployments at customer ends, but mostly it's on-prem enterprise installation for us.
Okay, great. And then can data retention be deployed independently of other deep components, or do you have to deploy all of those components at once?
So the data retention module is dependent on the core deep platform. So it sort of seamlessly integrates with it.
Okay, great. And then it looks like we just have one more question here. What is the typical time frame to get a data retention solution deployed and then start to deliver the benefits?
We start getting results at customer ends within a week, right from installation to results for data retention.
Okay, awesome. And then we did get one more question just roll in here. What is the process to define the rules, and how do you link them to the data stored in the database?
Right. So the rules can be defined within the software, or you can import it from things like Excel. And those are associated with tables thanks to our machine learning classification, which automatically identifies tables and puts them in a bucket against the logical concepts.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for that. I think that is actually going to wrap up the rest of the questions here. If anybody does have any additional questions afterwards, you can reach out to Fulcrum here or Global IDs and ask those questions. We've also included a few additional resources at the end here so you can learn a little bit more. I will be sending out both the recording to this session. Oh, I got one more question, and so I'll address that, and that one looks like it's to you, Conleth. So give me 1 second to wrap this up. So Additional resources can be found on those links. You will get a recording at the end of this. And then also be sure to follow the Fulcrum Digital social media channels. We will be hosting a poll to let you all vote on the next topic in our webinar series. Real quick before we wrap up here, Conleth, I got another question for you. How do you remove data from the forms? And who should I reach out to, or who should we reach out to?
Well, I think that might be more a question for Partho. That's a little bit more product specific. Partho?
Right. Yeah, so we act on a read-only basis in data retention. So we will do the analysis and give you the results in a periodic manner, but we don't go to source databases and start deleting the data.
Okay, great. Like I said, I will, for all additional questions, you can certainly reach out and we'll continue to answer those for you. As I said, we will send out the recording and everything. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today, and be on the lookout for that poll for our next webinar topic.
Thank you, Rihanna.
Thanks, Rihanna. Thanks.
Thank you.